try. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned. And I understand, Oatmeal. I also want a piece of that sample,
yes.
but we got to, we can't. All right, Jim, let's take one more. All right, at Electromagnesia, I hope I got that right. What questions are we hoping to answer by studying the samples from Asteroid Bennu?
Well, fantastic question, and there are many. It's all in the name. So we want to look at those building block chemistries of the earliest solar system. It's all eradicated here on Earth. We have to go to places like Bennu or other asteroids like it to get those records. So we're going to look in the deep time to understand our solar system from those chemicals. We're also going to look at how we use a real asteroid stuff to understand what we see of other asteroids through telescopes and flyby spacecraft. That's the ground truthing, or the asteroid ground truthing that we do. We're also going to look at resource potential. These asteroids contain bound water in minerals. Those are really cool. You can get the water out. That's neat. Also, interesting distribution of metals. So this is a really exciting opportunity to put that all together and also understand the mechanical behavior of these objects. They're rubble piles held barely together flying through space. So we're going to do all of that and answer questions we haven't even thought of yet. Dante's team will invent the questions for the future from what they do with these samples.
Fantastic. All right, I think we have time for one more. Let's take a look. At Horrors of Cody, is there any worry of possible bacteria or virus from the sample regardless of the clean room?
So that's a very good question. And of course, the team, and you heard from Jason Dworkin and others, have been thinking about that for a long time. We think these types of asteroids and the materials from them are not life-bearing. And they're not life-bearing, and so we have classified this mission as a certain class of planetary protection. So we're not expecting any true life-bearing biological elements to be a part. But the fragments of organic chemistry, carbon-bearing stuff that you heard Danny Glavin talk about, the building blocks of life that got it all started in all the places it is here, but also maybe elsewhere, really important. So we don't expect to see any of that. We've contained the contamination. You see what's going on now in the portable clean room and at Eileen's place back in Johnson Space Center. So we're very optimistic. No worries about that stuff. We're good here.
So I think we talked about this a little bit, but I think one thing people are maybe wondering, or even maybe a little worried about, is could this sample contaminate Earth? Are we at risk of something catastrophic?
Literally so vanishingly small that no one would rightfully bet on anything like that. This is space, rock, and dust from a time so far ago that's been baked in the space radiation that wouldn't be good for any any living thing, sorry. We're all organic. And so it's been sterilized by being in space, in effect. And we do the same thing when we go and sterilize stuff that we'll bring back from planets like Mars. So,
how long is this next process going to take? You know, we're in the clean room now, we're going to go to Texas. How long is this all going to take before we start getting some results?
So, in the next few weeks, in the next couple of weeks, by October 11th, we expect the team in Houston, Eileen's team, and together with Dante's team, will have done that first proper containment and understanding all the possible sources of contamination, so they can document those for the future and also make sure they're through all those gates that Eileen was mentioning, so the samples are protected from anything from Earth, so they won't be contaminated. Then they'll do some first characterization with all these great machines they have in Houston, and we'll start talking about what they get by the end of October, going into the Christmas time. And by the end of January, I've been told the science team meeting, the sample leaders will start reporting to all of us what's going on.
Wow, that is soon. And you heard that Unboxing Day is October 11th. Did I hear that right?
That's right. It will be a Christmas party for samples.
Okay, that's right. So, Jim, I'm struck by how these last few minutes compared to the last few years. You know, here we just saw human hands wheeling precious scientific, cargo at walking speed, when just a few hours ago it was barreling through Earth's atmosphere.
Exactly. We went from cosmic velocity to velocity smaller than an ant would use to crawl across a table to pick up a crumb. And so that's the speed of science. To get it, the engineering flies, cosmic velocity, sampling, all that great dynamics, and finally now the careful, methodical, snail's pace to get it done right so we preserve it. I mean, this is like geoarchaeology of samples from a place that's not Earth. Very special.
Yeah, absolutely. The sample return capsule isn't done traveling, of course. Once it gets stabilized on what's called a nitrogen purge to ensure everything remains dry and uncontaminated by intrusive gases, the entire apparatus will be loaded aboard a C-17 cargo plane for a flight on its way home to Johnson Space Center. Once it arrives, scientists are ready to start working on vital research on this extraordinary sample of the asteroid Bennu. But that airplane ride and the research plans waiting for it on the other side starts tomorrow. For now, the OSIRIS-REx sample return capsule has completed its solo journey of nearly 4 billion miles, landing in the Utah desert, and is now in the expert care of our on-site sample curation team. But we're not out of the woods yet. We did mention this nitrogen purge.
That's right. So we have to carefully contain this so we can do that work and literally, really transform knowledge for all time. This is the thing that we dream of, and Dante and his team, 10 years ago, were thinking of that. Transformational knowledge that will change how we think of ourselves.
And we couldn't let you go before we share something fun. So we just delivered a sample of the asteroid Bennu back to Earth, but the UPS can also deliver fun stamps of the actual asteroid Bennu sample return. Let me turn that over so you can see it on this side. How fun is that?
So we have brought an asteroid first-class delivery from OSIRIS-REx to Earth, and our Postal Service here in the United States is issuing stamps to build on that inspiration so they can deliver our packages for us.
How exciting. I know, everybody needs to get some of these.
Yeah.
These are really cute.
Yeah, I want one.
I would like one too. As we're wrapping coverage here at the Utah Test and Training Range, let me remind you that this is not the end of the story. Next up is our post-landing news conference scheduled for 3 p.m. Mountain Time, 5 p.m. Eastern Time on NASA TV, presented live right here on nasa.gov and other streaming sites. You can also find mission updates on X at NASA and on the web at nasa.gov. That's all the time we have for today. Jim, it has been a pleasure sharing the stage with you. We did it.
Way to go. Thank you, Lauren, for having me.
And a huge thank you to all of our guests for joining us today, and a warm thanks to all of you out there for watching us. Here are some highlights from today's exciting landing. Special coverage of America's first asteroid sample return mission, OSIRIS-REx, as it arrives back to Earth after more than 7 years traveling in deep space.
We see.
PDL milestone. We have confirmed parachute deployment.
Wow, and after an exhilarating streak across Earth's atmosphere, we have parachute deployment. You can see just a sigh of relief from the team. I can hear some applause here. Disconnecting from the back shell, we'll then actually unwrap all of that thermal blanketing once we actually get it into the clean room here.
Recovery operations. SRC is in the cargo net, and all the gear has been stowed in the helicopter.
Special coverage of America's